We have bad news. This year's big COLA increase in Social Security monthly benefits is falling short for the millions of people that are relying on these payments. And that's because for the past 2 months, the biggest increase in Social Security benefits has been for decades been delivering much needed breathing room. Much needed breathing room for the past couple of months for the seniors, because nearly all of the survey respondents of a Social Security poll say that they don't think this year's sizable bump will give them a chance to get their feet on the ground again and catch up. So that's not good. Furthermore, they worry that the increased income could result in huge tax bills. This year's beefed up COLA, which boosted the average retiree benefit by more than $140 a month, will push retirees over the edge, over the income thresholds which are not indexed for inflation, plus thus requiring them to pay more taxes on part of their Social Security benefit. Many who had not paid taxes on their benefits in the past are going to have to go through this. With that being said, a Social Security policy analyst has told Yahoo Finance that even as inflation moderates, it will be more difficult for lower and modest income seniors and those who have been retired to dig out of the shortfall between what Social Security beneficiaries received over the past 2 years. And this effect of actual inflation is going to not be good, because according to the SSA, nearly 9 out of 10 people aged 65 and older receive Social Security benefits. Among the elderly Social Security beneficiaries, 12% of men and 15% of women are on Social Security for 90% of their income. For the typical retiree, it covers about half the retirement income. Seniors overall have been feeling the gap for months now. Last fall, nearly 2 out of 5 of the 1,500 retirees had this problem. The Senior Citizens League reported that their standard of living had worsened since March 2020, and they had depleted savings faster than planned. Roughly the same percentage that they had no savings and had piled on debt and had tackled low-income assistance programs. So when the Social Security Administration, the federal government agency that oversees the benefit, announced the increase for this year, the largest since 1980, when the COLA was 11%, there was a resounding echo of applause. And that's because it raised the average type benefit by more than $140 a month. Even the adjustment, coupled with a decrease in Medicare Part B premiums, was expected to make a significant difference in making ends meet for more than 70 million senior citizens. The expansion would be financed by consolidating other tax benefits, including a significant revamp of the Earned Income Tax Credit. The Center on Budget and Policy Priorities estimates the number of children living in poverty would decline by 1 million under the Romney proposal, and the roughly 20 million children and families making less than $3,000 are better off by this. Analysts have also argued that roughly 10 million people will be worse off under the Romney plan, due in part to proposed cuts. So, hopefully President Biden can do something about this. We got some bad news. Some really big changes are actually coming to monthly benefits soon. Officials have always confirmed that millions of Americans are at risk of losing health insurance in just a few weeks, and very important details have been announced. So be sure to keep watching, because we got a ton of information about the fourth stimulus check, Social Security benefits, SSI, and SSDI. You definitely don't want to miss out on this, because there's a ton of information that we got. So, like I said, the Biden administration is telling healthcare providers to begin preparing for an end to the public crisis emergency. The change will have broad implications for Medicaid health insurance recipients, and it could significantly impact how hospitals and pharmaceuticals operate. The health secretary told reporters on a call that how the United States manages this crisis will provide crucial data on whether the emergency needs to remain in place. The Health and Human Services Department will give the public 6 weeks ago. The Fed appeared set for a steeper rate hike and prepared to keep them elevated for longer, but a startling deposit run at Silicon Valley Bank and a closure of 2 smaller banks and a takeover of 2 other banks has created this panic in the financial system. Many economists, as well as the Fed, noted the bank's newfound caution following the turmoil would likely drag on the economy. The high cost of living is causing financial headaches for millions of people. That is why many states and cities have approved new relief. There is a $5 million fund from which Americans could get much needed $500 stimulus checks. Everybody, listen up. It's important now. This is happening in the state of Missouri, specifically in St. Louis, and the checks are directed at families with low income. The mayor, who was one of the most people affected by this crisis, said that the people in the city and state have already a plan to send cash to hundreds of families, if not thousands, who are going through a tough time. The bill was presented and is calling for the state to spend $5 million in funds that are coming from the federal crisis stimulus package. They are urging the federal government to agree on sending $500 monthly payments to local families for the next year and a half. This idea is for this program to begin as soon as possible, and its approval will go into 2024. Now, the program is not approved yet, but a green light would mean that eligible people will be with low income, who are either parents or guardians of children in public city schools, and it's a great chance for the city of St. Louis to offer support for working families and their children. The Nebraska governor has also made some school aid and tax cut plans to keep on rolling this week, as lawmakers give a strong thumbs up to a package of property tax changes worth more than $3 billion over the next 6 years. The bill introduced by the senator would increase Nebraska's 2 property tax credit program, cap school property tax growth, and eliminate almost all community college property tax. The package represents the second piece of Governor Pillen's plan to advance this bill. The first piece would cut the state's top income tax rate by 1/3 and make other income tax changes possible. The governor said the property tax package would provide substantial property tax relief for everyday Nebraskans. And last August in the state of Maine, a new law took effect aimed at giving relief to the homeowners who have watched inflation and demand drive up their property values and thus their taxes.
For a bad batch of water. The system then was, paused, distributing more water into the system in an effort to have a better chemistry or a better jar test of what they were producing. And so that meant that the residents were draining what was left at that point in the clear wells. This is happening, at a time where we have support with the state there, at the water treatment facility. We welcome their support with open arms because we believe that our residents are worthy.
There is a new monthly eligible benefit raise. Lawmakers have agreed to provide a boost to beneficiaries. This might be worth up to $200 of financial aid. But some Americans in several states may not be eligible to receive this stimulus check. Gas prices are down, inflation is dropping very high, and the cost of food is going up. The price of food in America, everybody, rose more in the past year than has at any time since 1979. Inflation has driven up supermarket bills so much that in some cases, it's more economical to dine in a restaurant than it is to shop and cook. Grocery store prices have increased more steeply because they're more directly impacted by rising food costs and supply chain issues. While the restaurants, the cost of ingredients is only a small part of the bill. Spending on food stamps has increased by $53 billion and 90% increase in the 2 crisis years. By comparison, that's how much the entire program cost in 2009 during the recession. Spending on the SNAP program grew from 88% for an estimated $60 billion in 2019 to $113 billion in 2021. Spending on the SNAP program had previously peaked at $80 billion in 2013 before declining for the next 6 years. And the average monthly benefit per person increased 68% from $130 per person to $217 per person. That's from 2019 to 2021. The federal program helps supplemental the food budget of people who qualify. Emergency orders are helping some states collect more federal help. In the state of Virginia, another round of crisis benefits will be released today. Officials have said that a one-time payment